Hey everyone, I'm back and I think I'm recording. I'm using Camtasia for the first time ever, so I don't know, but I hope I am, otherwise I'm talking to myself as usual. Okay, so it's been a while and we're going to do a little bit of character rigging today. Just got some old files here. Right, okay, so starting with a base, I've got this character rig. This is part of my free character rig setup. I've deleted all the skeleton and everything, and I'm going to go through the process that I went through to get it rigged, or basically rigged anyway. If you haven't got this, you can download it. I'll put the link in the comments or in the description. It's YouTube, isn't it? This one's going to be free, so yeah, and I'll put the file probably on my site as well, so you can grab that if you need it. Right, okay, so I'm going to assume you've got some kind of mesh that you want to rig. It doesn't have to be a character, it could be anything really, it could be an arm, it could be whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go into front view, which I've got as keyboard free. If you haven't got it as keyboard free, just come up here, which is front view. Cool. Next thing we're going to do is go into tools, character, and we're going to choose joint tool. So I've made a little custom setup for my joint tool, which is here. I think ordinarily it starts as the default is line, display mode, and white. Just for the sake of seeing it a bit better, I'm going to set it to diamond, and let's go with a. I'm going to go with a bright green colour that should stand out. Maybe actually let's go blue. The reason I've gone for blue rather than green is because we've got this line right up here that's green. Oh, I don't want to get confused with that. So I'm going to start. Now I've got this joint tool selected here at what I call the pelvis, and I'm just clicking once, and then I'm going to put another joint somewhere around here. I'll put one at the neck. I'm going to take one halfway up the head, and if you look over here, you'll see we've got a joint structure forming. So that's kind of our body on this simple character. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to this, which I call my kind of root. My root joint really, and I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to set up some joints for the arms. So I'm holding shift down, I'm clicking once, and then I'm letting go of shift, and I'm going to click again somewhere near the elbow, somewhere near the wrist, and then once into the hand. So what you can see now, by clicking on this joint here and then using the shift key, what I've done is I've parented this set of joints here, which is this arm, to basically this pelvis joint here, and it's just going to be easier to manage rather than having them all buried deep down in the arm structure and things like that. So I'm going to do the same again on the other side. So I'm clicking this joint here, and I'm holding shift and I'm clicking once there, and you can see it's already starting to form it in the right place. I've released shift and I'm clicking the elbow, one down at the wrist, and then one towards the end of the hand. Once again, I'm going to click down here and I'm going to do the leg ones very quickly. So holding shift, I'll click once for the knee, one down near the ankle, and just one for the end of the toes. And I'm clicking on this one again, and I'm holding shift again, one there. There is a script actually for duplicating joints if they're kind of a mirror image. I'm not using it on this one because it's a nice simple one. So that's basically it for our joints. What I will do now is I'm just going to jump into either a perspective or a camera mode. I'm going into perspective, and you'll notice that our feet joints or our leg joints, whatever you want to call them, our toes, our ankle, they're a little bit out because there's a bit of kind of weighting to this character. So I'm just going to tweak them now. So let's go into a side view. Again, I'm using my keyboard commands to jump there. I'm going into left to start with. I'm going to pull this knee joint forward just using the usual transform method, and that's going to push all the other ones out. So it's a bit of a pain, this. Not too bad though. Now I'll bring this foot one that I can't grab there. There we go, that's looking better. So I'm now going to switch to the right view and do the same on the other side. Gets a bit messy here because we've got two lots, but what that does give us is the ability to put them in the same place. So just pushing them back on a single axis at a time. Let's grab that one again and move it forward. Okay, that's basically our structure for this little chap. So here we've got all the joints, and they're all kind of parented up because we use the shift click technique to do this. Now it's a good idea to name them all, but I'm not going to do that just because you don't want to be watching me click and name everything. It'll get pretty boring pretty quickly. So I'm just going to name the root ones. We'll call this left arm, right arm, if I could type, left leg, and right leg. And what are we going to call this one? I'm just going to call this one the whole torso, maybe pelvis here. Okay, so what I haven't done is I haven't named all the joints down the hierarchy, but it does give me a base to be able to select them from. It is worth naming them all if you've got the time. Okay, so we're halfway there. Well, we're more than halfway there actually. Now we need to connect this joint structure to this actual mesh. At the moment it's completely disassociated. As you can see, it's got no bearing on anything. So what we need to do is go to our base mesh in the object browser. Now we need to choose, well, I'll be able to find it, the skeleton tag. There it is. So skeleton tags properties come up here. What you then need to do is drag in your joint structure. So starting with your root joint, the one that grabs everything, just drag it right up here. And there we go. So it's nearly done. So that shows us our joint structure here. And then I'm going to click this bind mesh. I'm going to use the heat binding method. It's the one that I always use. Do some experimentation. I'm just doing the basics here. So I'm going to use a heat binding mesh. I'm going to click OK. And what you'll see has happened now is our mesh has started to colour up. Red where it has the most influence, yellow where it has a certain amount of influence, and obviously back to grey, which is the basis of our mesh anyway, where it has no influence whatsoever. So if I click through these joints here, what you'll see is it shows me where the influence happens, red at its most and yellow less so. So just going through. Okay, so that's all cool. I'm relatively happy with that now. So now we've bound our skeleton to our mesh. So if we start moving things, just using the normal transform tool, you can see that our joints are now positionable. And we can rotate things and what have you, which is all cool. That's what we wanted. And then you can start recording positions and things like that for your joints, which is good. Then we can get to the animation stage. The other thing I want to show you today is just how to quickly set up IK handles, and I'll do it on the left side of my character's body. What an IK handle does is it gives you the ability to move the end joint to a position where you want it to be without having to individually move every other joint. So if I wanted this guy kicking at the moment, for example, say kicking his foot forward, I'd have to move this one forward, move this one up, maybe rotate this one around a little bit until I got it all. So there's a fair bit of messing about. I'm just going to undo all that. So what we do is, instead, I'm going to select this joint here. I'm going to look at it down here, which is this one, and I'm going to add an IK handle. And the IK handle here will have a length, and that length tells you how many other joints it influences when you move it. Now 2 is fine here, so we've got 1, 2. That's the entire length of the leg. So that's good, that's on. I'm just going to do the same with the end of the hand here. So again, coming up to this tag here and putting an IK handle tag on. And again, I'm going to leave that set to 2. And what you'll see now is if I want to move this leg, I'm just going to move this freely now. Can you see how it has an influence over the rest of the skeleton, or those 2 joints, rather than say the rest of the skeleton, those 2 joints that I've put it on. So now if you want your leg forward, you just move it forward accordingly and it will bend the rest of the joints accordingly and hopefully get you where you want to be a lot quicker. Same principle with the hand. So you can see now we're starting to get that with the hand as well. Actually, there is a mistake on this rig file that I need to change, and that is you should always have some weighting towards a position with your limbs. So as you can see with the legs, I have got a little bit of balance in them. Just by default, I'll show you this one that I haven't moved. So there's a little bit of weighting forward. In the arms, they're deadly straight. And because I've put the IK handle on, it doesn't know which way it should really move. So it's a good idea to just bend your arms slightly forward in your model before you actually go ahead and rig it. Now I haven't done that, I need to update this file. But it's always good to learn from your mistakes. So I think that's it for today. So go away and rig your things, have some fun, and I hope you like this tutorial. Again, as usual, I'll try and record it whenever I can. I hope to be back with more soon. Any requests, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you all soon. Don't forget to visit mac3dsoftware.com for all my other stuff. Sign up for the newsletter as well. I try and push that out once a month with new stuff on it. Freebies, premium tutorials, tips, anything I've seen that I think will help you. I try and announce that in the newsletter without being too pushy. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you soon.